Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Kat. I'm a wife, a homeschool mom, and an avid reader. It is the most wonderful time of the year, Christmas time, and that means that it is time to look at my December reads. I am super excited for this December's reading season. I have been a little bit in a reading slump only because I've had so much reading that I've had to do for college. And now that all of that is winding down, I have more time to read. And so, with that, let's jump right into my season's readings. The first book on my list is, of course, going to be A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This is a title that I assigned to my Brit Lit students, my British literature students, and it is a great read. We're all super familiar with the story, and so it makes it even more cozy to curl up with during the month. This, if you don't know, is a story about a miser who gets visited by three spirits to change his attitude toward Christmas, toward mankind, and just to help him realize that the way he's living is not the way that we are meant to live. This one, I am using the Merry Beggars podcast, which takes and divides up the Christmas divides up A Christmas Carol into bite-sized pieces. Each episode is about 10 minutes, and in this you get 10 minutes a day to listen to a small part of the story, A Christmas Carol, and through that you start on December 1st and go through all the way to December 25th, and it gets you the whole story by the end. This is just something that really appealed to me when I saw the Christmas Carol Advent. Along with this, and coming out soon, is a video of me watching 31 different Christmas Carol renditions and ranking them on my own personal preferences. So keep an eye out for that, but A Christmas Carol is what's first. Up next is Winter Spell by Claire Legrand. This was released in 2014. I had never heard of it before, but I chose it because our students are doing a Nutcracker play this week, and I wanted a Nutcracker retelling, and Winter Spell fits this bill. Here's what the book says. After her mother is brutally murdered, 17-year-old Clara Stoll is determined to find out what happened to her. Her father, a powerful man with little integrity, is a notorious New York City gang lord in the syndicate turned empire called Concordia. And he isn't much help. But there is something even darker than Concordia's corruption brewing under the surface of the city. Something full of vengeance and magic, like the stories of Clara's grandfather used to tell her when she was a little girl. Then her father is abducted, and her little sister's life is threatened. And Clara accidentally frees Nicholas from a statue that has been his prison for years. Nicholas is the rightful prince of Cain, a wintry kingdom that exists beyond the city Clara knows her, or has known her whole life. When Nicholas and Clara journey together to Cain to retrieve her father, Clara encounters a niece, the Queen of the Fairies, who has ousted the royal family in favor of her own totalitarian anti-human regime. Clara finds that this new world is not as foreign as she feared, but time is running out for her family, and there is only so much magic can do. This one, just like I said, with it being a Nutcracker retelling, really interests me. This is available on KU, Kindle Unlimited, and that was kind of one of my goals since I haven't been reading much this year, that I wanted to make sure that I am being a good steward of the money and the subscriptions that I am signed up for. So, Winter Spell by Claire Legrand. Up next is a book that has been getting a lot of traction on Instagram and the other viewing platforms for a Christmas book. This one came out last year in 2024, and that is Christmas with a Crank by Courtney Walsh. In this one, it's a second chance romance, and this is what it says. For Liam Fisher, that first crush was his next-door neighbor, Olive Witherby. Childhood was lazy summers, treehouse strategizing, and endless games of hide-and-seek at Pine Creek, the Christmas tree farm that's been in Liam's family for generations. When Liam's family moves away, Liam and Olive say goodbye in the only way that they know how, with a fumbling first kiss neither of them will ever forget. Even though 12-year-olds promise of keeping touch feel eternal, time and distance eventually make Olive and Liam practically strangers. 20 years later, Liam's parents announce they're retiring and selling the tree farm. 20 years later, Pine Creek is the last place grown-up Liam wants to be. Inherit this legacy, not on your life. And 20 years later, grown-up Olive is stuck. Her work life is a lot like her love life, floundering. After a humiliating business failure, loads of debt, and one too many laughable first dates, she's in no hurry to put herself out there again, in business or in romance. When Olive is hired by Liam's parents to rekindle the lost magic of the farm one final time before it's sold, she sets out to make this last, best Pine Creek Christmas for the town and for a very cranky, not so talkative, surprisingly hot Liam. Part of her mission? Convince the crank to fall in love with Christmas. The other part? Not fall head and over heels in love with him in process. So, this one just really, like I said, has been talked about a lot on Instagram, especially in the last few weeks, and just piqued my interest. Again, this is on KU, and so hopefully you can check it out too if you're interested. Another book that caught my eye during this Christmas season has been One Foggy Christmas by Courtney Keisel. In this one, we have a husband and wife go off on a skiing trip, and there is an accident. Nash Carter is devastated when a skiing accident leaves his wife with severe memory loss, erasing him and their 3-year marriage from her mind. Not only is Nash a stranger, but Sadie remembers being in love with her ex-boyfriend and can't understand how she ended up living in a new city, estranged from her family, and married to a man she doesn't know. It's up to Nash to win back his wife and prove that their love is worth fighting for. Can Nash's unwavering devotion help Sadie rebuild what was lost, or will he lose her love forever? This one really reminded me of stories like Overboard, where the main female character loses all of her memory and is building life again. And so I was really intrigued by this. I've always been kind of intrigued by these types of stories, especially when it's a husband and wife falling back into love again. Is it even Christmas if there isn't at least one hockey title on here? The next book that I was intrigued by was Season's Greetings by Katie Bailey. This one is a hockey tale, and here's what it says. When Maddie Granger's longtime boyfriend dumps her on TV for the entire world to see, she thinks she's hit rock bottom. Until her parents announce that they're spending the holidays with her ex's family, and he'll be bringing the woman he left her for. All Maddie wants for Christmas is to stick it to her cheating ex. But how? Enter Sebastian Slater, the NHL's most infamous player. On a drunken night out in Vegas, Maddie asks the superstar athlete to pose as her new boyfriend. She's kidding, mostly, but Seb shocks her by making a counteroffer. He doesn't want to date Maddie for the holidays. He wants to marry her. Show up at her ex's cabin alone or with a surprise new hockey playing husband? Maddie opts for the level up. Because maybe, just maybe, revenge is a dish best served betrothed. These hockey romances have caught my attention on several occasions, and I've really enjoyed them. I'm actually working still on finishing my Thanksgiving read, which also was a hockey read. So I'm excited to try this one out. Another title I found on Kindle Unlimited that really piqued my interest for this winter season, although this one is not necessarily a Christmas read, is Shattering Reflection by Madison Carlin. This one is a Snow Queen retelling, and here's what it says. Princess Nordica's crown will be purchased with blood, her blood. Now, the sole heir to the throne, she is determined to be the queen the Snowlands deserve. But that comes with a price. A numbed heart and soul. Only when she meets kidnapped physician Lauren Alser does Nordica allow herself to hope that she can become queen without completely losing herself. But not everyone wants what's best for the Snowlands, and Nordica's upcoming rule is compromised at every turn. Can the criminal physician and his faith thaw Nordica's heart, or is she destined to be the heartless queen she is being forced to become? War Shattered not only break Vincent's heart, but his faith as well. Tired of fighting, Brake only wants to be left alone, but his efforts are for naught when a friend calls in a favor. He soon finds himself in an unexpected alliance with Larry Alser, a woman determined to find her wrongfully kidnapped brother at all costs. Can a broken soldier help right a wrong and find his faith again in the process? Sides must be chosen and loyalties will be tested as a new war approaches. Can broken lives be mended in time to help save the Snowlands? Or is evil already too deeply embedded? This one, with it being similar to the Snow Queen, just really pulled me in. Not only that, but I've always enjoyed these fairy tale retellings and have been wanting to branch out of the same few stories that we hear retold over and over again, like The Beauty and the Beast, Well, The Beauty and the Beast is a wonderful retelling, or wonderful story and ripe for retelling. There's more fairy tales than just that, and this one branches us out into a new direction. While I was looking for Nutcracker and other Christmas time retellings, I stumbled across A Soul as Cold as Frost by Jennifer Croft. This one has an interesting blend of different stories and really intrigues me. The quarrel of sword and bone was a death sentence for anyone who stepped into the arena with the deranged queen, whose soul had crisped to frost in an age long since past. 16-year-old Helen Bell understood tragedy better than most kids growing up. She knew what it was like to wear clothes from the donation bins and to be mocked by the beautiful girls in school. She thought those brutal experiences made her ready for anything, but she wasn't ready for this. After an eccentric girl opens Helen's eyes to let her see the realm of winter, a world which intersects carefully with the cracks of her own, where monarchs have risen and fallen. It's forbidden to mention the name of the dead king of winter, and the currency is gold rings. Helen comes to learn that downtown confrontation was more significant than she realized. When Helen receives a mysterious summons from the Crimson Court to enter into the quarrel of the sword and bone, a traditional duel performed before 1,000 witnesses that leaves only one survivor, she's forced to finally pay attention to a handsome boy who's been following her around with a warning on his tongue. And this one it continues on to tell us that Jennifer Croft takes the stories of St. Nicholas and the Snow Queen and the Nutcracker and kind of weaves them together, and that this story is ideal for fans of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. So I saw that and definitely had to pick it up. So there are 7 titles which I'm looking forward to reading this Christmas season, and hopefully I will get through all of these and maybe more, but hopefully at least these. What's on your Christmas reading list? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you next time. Bye.